welcome to a brand new episode of Coming Distractions brought to you by the Nerdpocalypse podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys, we're back. This episode, we're going to discuss Glass. So this is the 2019 end of the M. Night trilogy, starting with Unbreakable, then Split, now Glass. Sort of M. Night Shyamalan's take on superheroes in his view. Terrence and I both saw this movie. I think we both really enjoyed Split quite a bit.
Yeah, Split was very good.
I thought Unbreakable was fine. Yeah. But again, I didn't see Unbreakable for like...
I haven't seen Unbreakable in like 11 years.
Right. So like, to me, I liked the idea of where it ended. And I was like, oh, cool. It's like a superhero take. I get it. Yeah. That's fine. Then I saw Split and I was like, wow, okay, that was really impressive. And then we have Glass. Mm-hmm. So this is starring Bruce Willis. Well, I should say it's starring James McAvoy, really. James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Sarah Paulson.
I would say
Bruce Willis is probably the least.
James McAvoy, Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
And then Bruce Willis.
And then the rest of the cast.
And then Spencer Treat Clark. So the premise of the movie, before we give our review, the premise of the movie is after the events of Split, which you should see Unbreakable and Split before you see this. Yeah. After the events of Split, there are a number of girls who go missing who are being held by James McAvoy's character because he's a serial killer. And the overseer, which is what people refer to Bruce Willis's character, is trying to find out why these people
go. It's a little offensive when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because the overseer is a very slave term. That's
very much so.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Fuck you, Bruce.
so
I don't like that.
Yeah, now that I think about that, it's a little fucked up. So he goes and he's looking for why these girls are going missing. They think it's a serial killer, and they heard about this this James McAvoy character, Kevin Wendell Crumb, aka the Horde, right? Because he has multiple personalities. So eventually, we know that Mr. Glass, played by Samuel L. Jackson, has been locked up since the end of Unbreakable. They eventually catch James McAvoy's character, and they also catch Bruce Willis's character. And Sarah Paulson is the psychologist who has them all captured in the same facility, and she thinks that they're all delusional about being superheroes or having these superpowers. And so that's kind of where the movie starts. What did you think of this movie, Terrence?
Coming out of it, I thought it's fine, but it's wasted potential. Like, it's just like the first half where it goes into the lore, basically, like you have the Beast or the Horde. He's still, first of all, before we continue, he steals the show. Like, this should have been like Split 2 because like the other characters, it didn't mean anything.
Agreed.
Like his whole like take on like comic book characters, like the fact that these people are just used, like I don't exactly know why they have origin stories that cause them to have these powers, but he doesn't really go into what kind of physical makeup happens and whatever snaps in their brain to give them these powers. Like his take is cool, but he does a terrible job
of executing
it. Like again, like the first two movies, first one was fine, second one was excellent. This one, like he's like a lot of people said he was trying to do too much. Like I don't think he did enough.
Yeah, because you and I had that conversation ahead of time, and that's what I kind of at the end I was like, yeah, I don't think he did enough. Like he left too much on the floor. He didn't fill in enough answers.
Like when you go to see, essentially this is his comic book movie. These are his comic book movies. When you go to see a comic book movie, you want to see action, right?
Yeah, at some point you want to see,
hey, the action's dope, like cool, all right. No, like there's one fight scene in the beginning, which was fine. No, it wasn't. Like it was just like okay,
it was there.
It happened.
Yeah. It happened.
Nah, man. I just like the more I thought about it after we left, I'm like, I don't really think I liked it that much. Like there was humorous moments in it, like the crowd was laughing because like there were funny scenes in it, but overall, Like, it just missed it. It missed its mark. Like, the first half was fine. Like, I was like, okay, this is cool. He's really trying to dig in. Then the second half, you're like, this is it? Like, this is what you're going to do? And then there were things that I was thinking about. I'm like, this bothered me. Okay, this woman is a psychologist. And she's like, you guys are delusional. But the rooms that they kept them in were rooms to keep people with superpowers in. Why?
Right. Yeah,
like,
why?
Why did you do that?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Like, if they're delusional, then you don't think they're superheroes. Why would you put them in rooms that will keep their powers that you don't think exist at bay? What?
Right, that doesn't make sense.
Like, a lot of stuff just didn't make any sense. I didn't realize that there were more than 3 patients in this asylum until the very end of the movie.
And to that bizarre. Right, and to that point, it feels very much like a bottle film, right? Because there are very few characters.
Yes.
And like, my biggest fear for this movie after watching the trailer, I was like, wow, these trailers are good. Yeah. But my biggest fear was like, they're not really moving outside of this hospital.
No.
And I was like, okay, like, in the movie, I didn't keep track of the time, but I'm watching it, and I'm like, they're not going to really get from in front of this hospital, like, no. And they did, right. Like, and it happened all in this really confined space, which is okay. But when you're talking about a superhero movie and you're promising this big showdown, you want to see the big showdown, and they didn't do that.
And the ending sucked. The ending was terrible.
Yeah, I didn't care for it at all. Like, you and I were like, we left and was like, that's not how it should have ended, right?
No, not at all.
But, and I don't want to do spoilers. We'll talk spoilers on the full episode next week. You'll give people a weekend to watch it. But what it lacked was a coherent, or I shouldn't even say coherent, an interesting second act. Right? The first act I thought was good.
Yeah, the first act was excellent.
Like, grabbing them and like bringing them in and everything else. And then once they got into the facility, it dragged. Yeah. And it really super dragged. And then you got your third act where it was like, okay, like, Samuel L. Jackson's character doesn't really kind of wake up until the third act for it to be called Glass, right? Like, that was kind of a bummer. I wanted to really see him shine a lot more. Because of Samuel L. Jackson, and like, you give Samuel L. Jackson a good script, he's gonna tear that shit up. Right. And that was a problem that I really
did appreciate his facial acting. He was very good.
Yeah, he was, for a guy drugged up, and
he was drugged up and didn't say a word until like an hour into the movie.
Yeah, and that was a problem. Like it's called Glass. Like, we want to see him, really go at it. So once he does finally wake up, and there's like kind of these like masterstroke, like mastermind moments, those were really cool. That was great.
This is why he's who he is,
right? And here's the thing: it's an M. Night movie. Is there a twist? There is a huge twist. Like, there is a pretty big twist, and I like the twist. I actually didn't, because sometimes in an M. Night movie, the twist is what kills the movie. You're like, yo, the trees are talking to each other. All right, yo, I'm out, right? But the twist worked. It totally worked, and I dug it. It was the end that just did not sell it. Like, I think if they had nailed the end of it, like super nailed the end of it, I think I would have all would have been forgiven for the dragging of the second act. But the ending really fell flat for me.
I don't know if it would have been forgiven, but like, I wouldn't have been as down on it.
Yeah.
As I am.
Yeah. So what is your score for this?
Man.
Give it to him.
Really? Like, nah, this is probably like a 2.5.
Okay.
2.5 out of 5.
That's a rough score. And it's exactly the score I would give it. Like, it's a 2.5 for me.
There's one more thing in this movie that just stuck in my craw that I couldn't, like, I cannot get it out of my brain. And that is, what's his name's mother's makeup.
It was bad.
It was horrendous.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson.
This woman is younger than Samuel L. Jackson, first of all. But they used the same woman that was the woman in the flashbacks. They just put her in old woman makeup.
I did not care for
it just looked like y'all just threw shit on her face.
Yeah, I didn't care for her old black lady makeup at all.
I didn't. No.
I was like, why didn't you just call Cicely Tyson?
I was like, first of all, is this supposed to be his mother? Because this is probably his sister.
Right.
Samuel L. Jackson's like 70 years old.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It didn't work at all. I'm like,
just get an old lady, man. Cicely Tyson is still around. You could have gotten, although I'm not sure Cicely Tyson
would like what?
Like an M. Night movie? Nah, you're not fucking my career up.
No, I'm quite all right. And again, like Bruce Willis just doesn't care.
No, that is very clear in this movie. Bruce Willis does not give a damn. There are some action sequences that are hilarious.
Action sequences. Yeah, you just put a camera on his forehead, and it was like first person view. It was like,
it was bad.
Like, and it's just overall, he just doesn't. I don't think he wants to act anymore.
I don't know. Why does he keep taking jobs? Does he have a boat like that he needs to pay for?
He just needs checks. Maybe he needs to go back to his band and play the harmonica some more.
I don't know. He's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, he's very good.
So just do that. Like, just let it go.
You just don't care anymore.
No, his heart isn't in it anymore.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, but then again, the other M. Night Shyamalan. Well, he was in Unbreakable and he was in The Sixth Sense. He was pretty similar, actually. Like his character was very just like morose and nonchalant. He spoke really softly. So I guess that's his character, but that's in both of the movies.
Yeah, but I also saw another movie that he was in that was not an M. Night movie. What was it? The Death Wish?
Yeah.
Is the same thing. No. Well, he don't give a fuck. He don't care anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't care. James McAvoy.
He crushed it.
He crushed it almost too much because at some points I'm like, all right, settle it down.
It's because he was so because he's so outpacing everyone else in the movie.
Even then, he was going overboard sometimes. With a 9-year-old. But then again, he's got DID, so whatever. It was cool though. He was. If you're going to go see it for him. He's fucking jacked too.
Yeah, there's a couple of moments that don't make any sense because he's like, I'm an old lady just in a sweat. I'm like, yo, your traps are busting through this little outfit. It looks insane. It looks insane.
What the hell kind of diet? He went on the Marvel diet.
Yeah,
he's fucking gigantic.
Yeah, he's
pretty
huge.
Scary. But anyway,
it's okay.
It's fine.
See
it on a matinee.
See it on a matinee. Some people said, "Oh, this was like horrible."
No,
it's not horrible.
Not
it's just okay. It is a very disappointing follow up to Split, is what I would say.
Yeah. I can't remember the first one, but like it would be Split, and then I'd have to see Unbreakable.
It's definitely Split, Unbreakable. In my opinion, I think so. So, again, if you really want to see the end of the Eastrail 177 trilogy, they're calling it. Yeah, check it out. But I wouldn't do anything other than the matinee. Yeah. All right, that's it for us, and we will see you guys next time.
Take it easy.
You're watching the Nerdpocalypse YouTube channel. Make sure you click that button to subscribe and check out our weekly podcast where we talk about movie, TV, news, tech, and weird stories from around the internet.